would they even have ended up playing LSU?
Honestly, honestly, I do feel like that even if he had been healthy, there was no way that they were going to ever put UCF in the playoffs. They could have been undefeated.
Right.
They could have been undefeated 5 years in a row. They would have still been sitting out.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what he put up or not. Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah.
Of course.
So yeah, I think they probably beat LSU in a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if they could have pulled that off. That would have been that would have made like what would it take for to open eyes and for as far as the committee goes, I don't know.
Unfortunately, the answer I'm thinking is UCF would have to find a way to get themselves into a different conference. They got to find a way to get themselves into a Power 5 conference, or they need to. The committee will need to set at least a guaranteed spot for a Group of 5 team, so they could do maybe Power 5 guaranteed spot, Group of 5 team, and then 2 wild card slots if they wanted to go to 8.
Right.
That's probably the only way I could realistically see them putting one in. If they put it where it's only Group of 5, Power 5 and then 3 wildcard spots, they will not get any of those wildcard spots. They will end up giving it probably to a second or a third SEC team or a second or a third Big Ten team. That's just how it ended up working out.
Yeah, that has to do with what we were talking about before, the show.
Which also, I think that would probably be a topic we could probably hit on later on the season. That topic alone, we could probably spend an hour talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, UCF doesn't quite have, they're not going to travel as well as an LSU or a Georgia. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. And
they're not going to draw the same TV ratings that those teams will because they don't have that long-term fan base. At least not. Yeah. They're not established as a program like that.
Yeah, I mean, if the committee, if they have to make a decision between a UCF playing in Arizona versus say a Texas A&M, you know how that's going to work out. It's just the way it is. So. But that's another topic, yeah.
But yeah, so what's what are you expecting to happen with the Auburn Oregon game? I'm leaning Oregon in a close one.
Yeah, I'll join you on that opinion. I think Auburn has a couple of injuries. I believe their receiver from Heritage Plantation, actually, a burner, Anthony Schwartz. I believe he's got something wrong with his hand, and he's questionable.
Okay.
For that game. So that's one player that they could probably use against a very good Oregon team. I'm going to lean Oregon there in a close game. Probably by 4.
You also mentioned before the show about another game up here, even though there's still questions about whether or not the game might be moved potentially, but it should still be a good game if it plays. Florida State facing Boise State.
Yeah, a lot of people are picking Boise State in that game, coming from across the country. From Idaho to Tallahassee, that's quite a trip. Florida State really needs that win. That program really needs that win.
Yeah, especially after last year.
I'm gonna take Florida State in that one, and I feel like I'm almost picking them as an underdog, even though they're home. I just think there's too much. I just think they need that win so much that they're going to get it done.
Well, unless something changes, they're supposed to be playing in Jacksonville, I believe.
Okay. Still quite a hike for a much longer trip for Boise. But I'll keep that in mind. But I still like Florida State there.
Yeah, I do as well. Boise State is one of those teams that seems to always play good teams very close. They have a history of pulling upsets over Power 5 teams, even though, as you said, Boise State might be actually the favorite in this game, as crazy as that may sound. At least if we went back a couple of years ago, the idea of Boise State being the favorite over Florida State, that would sound insane. But
I'll tell you right now, I can find it, the favorite in that game. I feel like from a fan's perspective that no one's given Florida State a chance in that game. Like from a lot of people that I've spoken to, Florida State is a 4.5 point favorite in that game. But yeah, I guess maybe a little because I'm down here in South Florida. Maybe because I speak to a lot of Canes. I don't know. Like a lot of people I speak to, they're picking Boise State there. In that game.
I think that you said 4-point favorites. I guess I'll go with 7 points for Florida State.
You think they'll take it by 7?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. I think they win the game. I think it's going to be a hard fought win, but the program needs it, and we might be looking at another year like in a lot of the past years with the quote Big Three, where Florida State, Miami, and Florida can all beat each other, on a given night. Meanwhile, Central Florida's, they're going to play all of them.
I'm sure they would definitely need to beat one of those big three to really gain themselves some respect. But it's easier said than done to get those games scheduled.
No, there's a lot more stuff to it than the fans' perspective of what they want, for sure. Yeah, but I don't think any past national power, any team with a big reputation wants to. I don't think anyone's in a rush to line up against UCF right now.
Yeah, I can understand the logic there too. This has been a pretty long show and a very informative one. We're going to be closing up shop real quick. Broward, thanks for joining us again for the 792 Sports Florida podcast. That was Broward Handicapper, and I'm Hunter Williams, and we'll be signing off real quickly. Go ahead and close us out.
All right. Thanks for having me tonight, Hunter, to the 792 Florida Sports Podcast. Thanks for everybody out there listening, and I hope to be a part of the show in the future.
And I'm definitely looking forward to inviting you back on as a guest.
Thanks, Hunter. We'll catch up soon. Bye-bye.
All right.